Yeah.
3, 2, 1. What's good, family? Working Class Intellectuals Podcast. We back on deck. Y'all know what it is. I am your host, Dr. Joseph Richardson, the Philadelphia Negro, Uptown Philly, 215. Friends and family know me as JoJo, and I'm here with my co-D, my co-host.
Guys, how are you, man? It's been such a long time. I think it's been 3-4 months since we've been in the studio, man. But it's the young revolutionist. Hey, my words of wisdom for today is, try and fathom my intellect, not my hood disposition. It feels very, very good to be back, man.
We back. It's been a long time since I left you. Now strong step two. Yo, so we back in, bruh.
Yeah, man, it feels freaking amazing.
Feels
rough
amazing.
Rough start. You know, we had our guests here waiting. We apologize.
We got my man who we got some. Yo, first of all, before we even start, man, we stepped it up on our wine game, not because we bought the wine, but because this is the first time our guests have even brought us wine.
Wow, man.
See,
we classy.
We got, no disrespect to our past guests, but our guests now they a little bit sophisticated.
Yeah, they
man.
came through for
you know,
us,
they
man.
can't.
We forgot the wine, but they brought the wine.
Listen, next y'all guests. First of all, y'all gotta bring bottles next time y'all come.
For sure.
Second
That's
of
a must
all,
now.
yo, the bottle. Y'all gotta step it up, man. The Grand Cru,
It ain't no shuttle home.
the Chateau Guissot, Grand Cru, 2009. It was a good year.
2009 was a good year. That's why we brought that.
Yeah,
That was a great year.
it's a great year. We gonna get into that.
Right.
So, as always, man, got a story to tell. I'm gonna let my man get a backdrop on the story of how we got these two brothers here.
For sure, man. So one of these brothers, you know, I've known since middle school, man. We went to middle school together. We did some high school together as well, man. And you know, he appreciates the revolution of the podcast, right? And you know, I reached out to him. He said, "Look, bro, I want to come on." So man, let's make it happen, man. So he's sitting here today.
Yo, shout out to my brother, because my brother is, you know, falls into the class of guys that we have at the table. But, yo, as in the form of working class intellectuals, we always try to bring, you know, people that have amazing stories to tell and come from, you know, humble beginnings and manage to just rise through the occasion to their lives and do incredible things, and people that we don't even come across their paths, or we do, but we don't acknowledge them. And that's what the show is all about, man, highlighting the successes, particularly of our brothers and sisters that are doing amazing things, that we need to shed more light on their stories. We ain't all rappers, we ain't all ball players. We could do far more things. We're scientists, engineers, entrepreneurs. So yo, we giving love to that. So without any further ado, man, we gonna call this, you know, this is the ATC episode. I looked that up yesterday. You know what I'm saying? The ATC episode, right? So this is the air traffic control episode, man, and I'm gonna let these brothers introduce themselves.
All right, well, my name's Terry Halsey. I'm a certified air traffic controller at DCA, Washington National Airport. We don't say Reagan, because Reagan fired a bunch of controllers back in the day, in the 80s. Yeah, so it's DCA. I've been in the game. I've been in the air traffic game, and next week will be my 19th year.
Salute.
Thank you. You know, I'm trying to put that work in. I'll be honest with you. Air traffic control was not what I first started out to do. I went to Hampton University as an electrical engineer, and I don't know if y'all know about Hampton University. You know,
Salute to Hampton.
Thank you, HBCU in the house. But you know, the female to male ratio was 8-1.
That was nice for you.
Yeah.
And so I tried to get all my my freshman year. Well, you know, that ain't work well trying to be an electrical engineer. So, you know, the grades were suffering. And, you know, it was either, I know I wanted to stay in school, I had to find another way, and I came across the aviation program in Hampton, and I was going to do aviation management. One day, sitting in one of the classes, the professor says, I can see y'all making $75,000 in 3 years. You know, this is early 90s. And I'm like, what? Well, you know, sign me up. She was like, well, you know, we're getting an air traffic program here. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm from D.C., so I got Baltimore, Dallas, National, I'm good with that. So, man, from that point on, got in the air traffic program, graduated. It took the FAA a minute to call me. It took about 2 years before I get hired by the agency. But in the meantime, I was a case manager at DC Jail, where I did drug treatment unit. So that really was a pivotal point in my life.
Right.
You know, working in the system and being a young father and husband, and just seeing, you know, the things our people go through, and everybody got a story, you know, and they're human beings, and you just, some people are, you know, in their plight through life, and but during that process at DC Jail, FAA called me in 2000, and I've been rocking out.
Can you explain to them what FA means?
Federal Aviation Administration.
Okay.
It's a federal agency.
So that goes to all the people who didn't know with FFA. What's FFA?
Nah, that's the firefighters.
See, I'm fucking up.
Yeah,
FAA.
FAA, that's who air traffic controllers are paid from. I mean,
Okay.
so that's the agency we work for.
Okay, cool.
So we got my other brother, my other
Man,
ATC.
I appreciate y'all for inviting us out. Again, my name is Aubrey Farrar. Che, I know you for a long time, so I'm really proud of you. And,
Appreciate
that's
it,
why we
man.
brought this nice bottle of wine, because we haven't seen each other in over 15
Yeah,
years.
it's been a minute.
But the biggest thing is I'm excited to express everything. This is my partner, Terry. I've been an air traffic controller for 6.5 years. I'm 30 now, so that means I got in the game maybe 19, 20 at Community College of Baltimore County. So that's why I brought that 2009. That's when I started the school.
Okay, salute.
Right. So in 2009 is when I started. I graduated in 2010. And the biggest thing about my journey and coming from where we come from, I didn't know. I didn't know anything. Aviation was a rich man's pastime. It wasn't something that was ever introduced to us. And it was an opportunity for us to finish school and actually make a lot of money with a 2-year degree. So I did well. I obtained my private pilot's license, so I learned how to fly. And that was something that was new for my family. They like, yo, you flying? You
Yo, that's
you
dope, bro.
They like,
That's
you
tough.
barely can drive.
How old was you when you got your pilot
I was
license?
19. And I
Right.
couldn't even imagine it, because my rims on my car at the time, they were breaking off. So I'm like, I'm gonna fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was in 2000. I graduated 2010, and I've been gainfully employed with the FAA since 2012 June. So a lot has come about that, and the biggest thing that we really want to talk about is our career and what we do, and what we're doing to impact the youth, make a social impact on introducing these careers to the community.
Yeah. What I want to get to, because I know we definitely going to dive into that, but I want to talk a little bit about, you know, I've read on, my brother was an air traffic controller in the Navy.
Okay.
On a carrier. And so shout out to my brother Hugh. But I wanted y'all to talk a little bit about like what the average day looks like for y'all.
Well, I mean, it's shift work, number one. You know, we go in, it would depend on your shift, and we'll say, you know, 7 to 3. You go in, you plug in. Number one, you have to train. So as soon as you get to a facility, or any facility you go to across any air traffic control tower you go to, you have to certify in that tower. So which means you have to train on each position that facility has. And once your instructor say you can do it, or they recommend you, your supervisor has to sign off. So a certified controller is certified on all the positions. You go in, and really, you know, at the end of the day, like I tell people, and I tell you, even my kids, you know, you just keep A and B from hitting each other all day. You know, you're moving metal around. So you plug, you know, you get up, you plug in, you may work for like an hour, hour and a half, take a break, and then, you know, you go work again after you take like a 30-minute break, and you're just talking to airplanes, just volume. I mean, it's repetition, but it's rewarding because it's like a puzzle. You know, each time you plug in, something's different. The plane may be fast, may be slow. That's up to you to control, and you just barking out directions all day.
The most we can work is 10 hours, 6 days a week, and it has to be, we work rotating shifts. So tonight I work tonight, I'm off, and then you go back to work Sunday, then you go back. It's all over the place. So work-life balance is a big thing. It really helps us out to actually do this right here, because the 9 to 5 is too structured for us.
Yeah.
So we, you know, it kind of locks you in and blocks your whole day off. So if we can take care of stuff in the morning, work at night, it works out better for us, in my personal opinion.
It's a type A personality job too. You're not part of Cubicle Nation. Talking to
Right,
everybody.
right.
Yeah.
Welcome to our world. We love y'all. That's what we salute. We salute the non-cubicle dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's what we with. So
what was one of the hardest things you guys had to come across as far as job-wise and dealing with people in general of this atmosphere or category?
Well, I know when I got in 2000, so let's be frank. Aubrey talked about it, the percentage of diversity, minorities, and especially black people is low. So the facility, when I got hired by the FAA, they sent me to a facility in Miami, Florida, southwest of Miami International, at a small air traffic control tower. And out of 16 people, I was the only black person there. Well, it was one other guy and he left, so it was only 2 of us, and then there was only 1. Okay. And that's just a microcosm across the country. So now you're talking about a culture thing, understanding when it gets tight, or everybody gets their blood starts to boil because it's an aggressive field. You talking about, because we're saving lives. I mean, that's what it is. You make a mistake, like I said, we don't have a bad day at work. For us, there's no such thing as a bad day. Right. A bad day for us, you can wipe out a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of that, to sim on that, we save more lives in one shift than a surgeon does in his whole career. You got to think about all the planes and how many people are on that plane. That kind of creates a lot of stress. But back to the numbers, it's 10,500 certified professional controllers, and we're less than 5% of minorities.
Wow.
So the challenge is really is just when you first get in there and young is just I know for me is dealing with people who don't know my diction, know my culture, who really haven't worked beside, what I'm saying, a black person or any minority that's small. And so so when you struggle, because in this job you will have some struggle times. Training sucks, and so you can struggle. Sometimes when you struggle, it starts messing with your head. Like they look at you like maybe you can't do this, and it's not a hard thing to do. But I mean, that's some of the things you have to have, that that self-confidence to say, I can do this. Just show me what I need to do, and I'll do it.
So could you give us an example of a struggle that you might have seen or experience?
Well, all right. So for me, when they sent me down to South Florida, that's a very heavy Cuban area, Hispanic area. It took a while for me to get the accents, talking to planes with accents, and it took a long time, and so it would hurt my instructions. Whether I would give out an instruction or hear the instruction clearly, which would cause me to do something else. And then my instructor would be like, "Oh, what you doing? You can't operate in this way." And I'm like, I can't understand these guys. Like, we have a prescribed phraseology we have to use, and it also says when all that can't be done, two-way communication, just go to the best thing that you can say. And so I would start talking like that, like, "Hey, I need you to turn right, turn left," instead of saying the whole phraseology thing. And so that became a struggle. Sometimes traffic volume also became a struggle. I mean, it's just, those are just little snippets of something you might go through. But communication for me, when I first got down to South Florida, was tough. And it just, piled on from there. And so I would have days where I just, felt like I sound like crap on the frequency.
Right. I mean, for me, personalities, going in as a young man in a predominant, I would say primarily white male field, understanding different cultures and actually how to articulate myself without selling myself short was the hardest thing for me. We spoke about numbers earlier, but I got in at a very young age, so everyone else had life experiences. And I had my life experience, but my sets were different than their sets. So a lot of guys come in prior military, fresh out of the military, and I went through the collegiate route, so the civilian route. So I went to school, did 2 years, and I got in. I mean, and I think my life experience has helped me get through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he struggled. I know I trained Aubrey, and it'd be times where, and so we got this thing what they call tower team concept, and he would have to coordinate with someone, or they have to coordinate with him, and just depending on where he was, like his response would be different. And they'd be like, "Yo, Terry, what's up? Like, you gonna let this guy talk to me like that?" And I'd be like, "What he's?" And I'd be like, "Bro, what you saying, bro?" Like, But I mean, but it would be okay. But it's just like, from a young dude who I've seen a lot, and these guys in my neighborhood, it was nothing to me, but to some of these, other people, it was like,
Why you talking
like, yo.
So like
yo,
what?
Yo,
So like what?
Yo, he's an
So like-
asshole.
So like what? I want to hear what you were saying. So like what? So like what would they be like? Yo, why is he talking like that?
I just didn't understand why people talk to certain people a certain way. And it A-type personality, if you got an A-type personality, I got one too. But the thing is, you don't know me. So that was that transition there. So if you can tell them a story. I mean, those stories they get intense.
I guess like he was training
hostile
and
environment.
he was training on he was talking to airplanes in the air, and he had a hidden assistant who was a female. And so I guess she was kind of like setting a sequence of planes to depart, and I don't know what was going. And I'm standing in the back because I try to train, like I train people. Say I train you to work beside me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna train you to be your daddy. So so I'm standing back letting them work, and I guess whatever reason, like she was setting a sequence. He was like, Nah, they ain't doing this. Nah. And I don't know. And she turned around like, you gonna let him talk to me like that? And I'm like, what's going on? He was just like, I ain't doing this shit or whatever, something like that.
I've never.
Nah, I'm not saying that.
I think I was like, F that. This is what we doing. This is my show. Woo woo. And that came off really as aggressive to someone who never was even probably have a conversation with a black man like that. And the thing is, as controllers, we have to control the situation.
Yeah.
So,
he was trained, but we all trained it. When you're working this position, it's your show, so you have to take control over that. Just how you communicate.
So how much is confidence important in doing some of this nature? Like it's confidence. Is it
Very
all
important.
about confidence?
Very important. Very important.
that's a
Very
big
important.
percentage of it. I mean, it's really, you have to be 100% sure 100% of the time. There's no room for error. So confidence has a lot to play with it. And if you have something going on, you got to check that at the door.
Okay. So has it been times where you've seen someone have a lack of confidence and you had to check them?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen people cry, in training, training is like the bell curve, you start here, you go up, you know what I'm saying, you slide down plateau, then you got to get them back up as far as your range of emotions.
Okay.
Because, you're, like I said, you're in a science where, you don't make any mistakes.
Okay.
And you have to do it within the guidelines set forth by, the lawyers and stuff. So, and when you make mistakes, you literally being trained by your peer, so when your peer says, hey, you sucking right now, like what you're doing is wrong. I mean, it can come at somebody, but you got to build that kind of character. But you got to stay in the game, you know what I mean? Because we're trying to get these passengers from A to B. People got lives, they trying to go to their family reunions or vacations.
They got to go to a funeral or anything.
All that, you got to try to keep that confidence up. But I definitely see him shook.
So how important was your OG to you when you was just getting into the game?
For me, it was very important. I mean, a lot of people, if you don't come in there with that then they write you off.
Okay.
But as a young man developing, maturing, going through different phases, I mean, making this type of money at a young age is really hard to be
For sure.
a 30-year-old man in a 21-year-old body and expect to handle. So I think the mentorship was a great thing, and I'm glad that this guy we had a lot of talks, but they were real talks. They weren't just nothing superficial. So that's why he goes everywhere I go everywhere he goes, and we moving.
So it was kind of like a relief when you first walked in to see another brother.
Well, I met them on the basketball court. So
Yeah, he was an intern.
yeah, so I was an intern.
Yeah.
So I started off as an intern. So I was working overnight security. I was working at Fridays, and then I was working as a student ambassador. So I had a yellow shirt, big old corny pen, saying, "How can I help you?" And then I went to go see these guys because we was playing basketball. Where were we at? Run and shoot.
Yeah, it was a run and shoot. Yeah, run and shoot.
Yeah, I used to bust them. And
Whatever. Don't even.
They was like, we gotta
put
get
that
this
out there.
junk.
Don't even put that out there.
It was like the young boy coming in, doing his thing.
Me and my OG used to get them numbers.
Yeah, we used to have a
Him
good
and his
time.
man.
And it was all competitive, and that's really what helped me and helped each other because it was like a brotherhood. It's a fraternity.
Right.
So that right there, we laugh, we talk. We might get into it, but guess what? We still gonna have this steak and this wine.
And we would encourage you, you know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
told him, I said, man, your day gonna come, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying, keep it clean, your day gonna come. And if when you get picked up, if you come to our house, you know what I'm saying, DCA, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna take care of you.
So when you got picked up, how was that feeling, man?
I was emotional, man.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you because I had a lot of people that said that was not against. They were against me becoming an air traffic controller, not because of the person that I was. It's more or less my path that I had before. So it was very. You got to be. I was very optimistic and I was very excited. I was really emotional because you got to go to Oklahoma City and train.
Okay.
And I've never left DC. So to put me in Oklahoma City for the first time, that was definitely like,
I know that was crazy. Like, what the hell?
So I'm out there for 4 or 5 months training. We got cattle over here. You know, I've never seen none of this stuff in my life. I mean, I have maybe driving down Virginia, but I think that it was a sign of relief because I worked so hard to get here, and then it's like, job well done. Welcome to the FAA. Okay, well, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm bred to do. I've been working so hard for this. And we talked a little bit about offline and how our stories are. But I was very, very excited, emotional. And
Man, we got toast.
We got toast up. I'm sorry, my brothers, we drinking out of paper cups, but salute to my man Marshall for actually getting here and opening that joint, man. And even though we drinking out of paper cups, man, it's the best wine we ever had at this show. How we gonna have the best wine we ever had at the show out of paper cups, though? Salute y'all. We fucked up this time.
We did. It's on
Y'all came
this is
through.
a really good wine.
But it's a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? When we fuck up, you know, they came through.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
I got sniffing. I got get a little bit. You know what I mean? Switch it around.
So that's that 2009, and 2009 was when I got the call.
Take the oak in it, bro.
So I received a scholarship. I had internships and a lot of other things, and I started getting involved in the community as far as helping just kids out. And I had a lot of stuff going on, but I said, God, if you give me this opportunity, I go cold turkey on everything, and I push and I pay it forward, and that was them.
Can you say, like, as far as what was one of the like most stressful situations y'all had on the job, as far as like guiding planes in and landing?
Oh man, I think I tell people the one time where you know, you're saying your butt cheeks pucker and you hold your breath and you just like hold, you know. This was years ago. We had a wind gust come in, and one of my colleagues, he had, so you know, we are parallel to the Potomac River,
Right.
So the plane was coming down, and the wind was the storm was coming in big time, and so we had to what we call send the guy around. Like he couldn't land because of the wind, and so my colleague told him to turn right heading 090. So when he turned the plane, another shift of wind came, and the plane did this.
Oh.
And right over the river, and this is before like that dude landed, Sully landed the plane on the river. I mean, it did like this, and I was like, and because I just knew that. I was like, I'm about to watch this plane like just fall flat over into the river. I mean, and that shook me. That shook me. But the pilot was able to recover. Okay. It was just those seconds. Other than that, I mean, you know, I haven't had I haven't seen any close encounters where like near mid-airs and stuff like that. I mean, you train everybody to pride themselves. You've dealt with emergencies. Oh, I will say this though. One time when I was in Miami. We were working, and this guy had his own private plane, a little small plane, and he keys up and he says, I lost all power. He's like, I'm going down. Like, excuse me, what are you saying?
Right.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going down. I lost all power. So, you just really you sterilize the airspace. You try to see if you can get a helicopter, a medevac, or something like that, somebody to keep an eye on him. And, you just continue to give him direction. And you just see on the radar scope his altitude go from 6, 5, 4, 3. And you just pop off. And then, you just lose communication.
And he was gone? That was it?
Well, luckily, when we sent somebody there, he found a field to land in, and he was out there on his cell phone waving, but we was able to get fire and rescue somebody. But I mean, just to hear that, and you're talking to this guy, continue to go on, whatever. And he's like, I'm doing it. He's like, that's it. And you can hear the engine just shut off.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's just gliding down.
When you say sterilized, though, what you mean?
Sterilized means just keep planes away.
Okay.
Keep planes away.
I think the biggest thing when you're going through that, you have to be calm.
Yeah,
you can't freak out. You can't, even if that person may be crying or maybe irate with you, you have to be professional at all times.
And that's that calming voice.
You got to make sure you just give them all the information there that's available to them. Man.
So what's some of the terms you guys use frequently when it comes to directing the traffic?
We talking about phraseology as far as how we talk to aircraft.
How we talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we give out clearances. When we talk, we speak in the phonetic alphabet.
Okay.
So Alpha, Bravo, Charlie.
Okay.
We kind of go all the way down there. So I guess we can kind of do something.
I mean, you know, I guess an example of, let's say American 2527, runway 1, clear for takeoff. You know, after departure, turn left heading 270, climb and maintain 3,000.
Right. Or
You know,
American 1767, you clear LaGuardia Airport, depart via the Doctor 3, Paleo transition. Then it's 5, climb maintain 5,000, squawk 61.
Hey, that shit's dope.
125.65.
Bruh.
That's dope.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
dope. He
That-
just
that-
jumped in the
that's a
character
plan.
real quick.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what?
we actually just gave y'all
Nah, I
flight
was
plan.
smoking
We
on
actually-
Yeah, you just ran it
We
down.
literally just gave y'all the flight plan, which is like the road map to
right.
LaGuardia in the air. So if you follow everything he just said, those vectors, those
Yes, you
waypoints,
did. Safety.
and those altitudes, you get to LaGuardia just like anybody else,
Right.
and through the roads in the sky, in the highway in the sky.
I'm proud of y'all.
Man, for sure.
Nah, seriously.
Appreciate
I got to touch
Appreciate
y'all
it,
up
Doc.
again,
Appreciate
man.
it, Doc.
I'm proud of y'all, man.
Appreciate it.
Man.
Terry, you mentioned the thing with Sully,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sure a lot of people have seen the film and probably heard about it. But how much of that is like? I mean, it's clearly based on a true story. But when you were watching the film or heard about it, what were y'all thoughts about that? As far as being
Those
ATC?
things get emotional to me, man, because I think about those guys that's on the boards, well, meaning talking to the planes. You know, the scene, you know, the scene where the controller was downstairs, and you know, because in his mind, you know, he just lost the plane, you know, and that's, you know, which means that he's going to be investigated, he's going to be pissed. The NTSB is going to talk to him. Everybody's going to come at him, and he's got to kind of, you know, they're going to critique his work. And you know, and just the feel of just losing a plane, you just don't want that on your conscience. And then so when the guy goes in the office, like, hey, did you hear? You know, American flight, whatever, it landed on the river, and just the elation of that guy. I felt, because I asked myself introspective, like, what would I be? How would I feel like if I'm in that situation? So those type things are that's kind of emotional, because you know that's something that not a lot of people in their lives are going to experience if it, you know, in a situation experience something like that.
Right.
But
You know,
I think that was a spot on representation of pilots and air traffic control communication. Like that right there.
Yeah.
That's real. It doesn't get any more real than
you,
that.
you watch that and you were like,
Yeah.
that's
straight
legit.
up.
That's,
So when they did it, they really captured
And
it.
they actually had some of the people that were involved in the movie,
Right.
that were actually working
Right.
as
Right.
controllers,
Right.
You know, so it was.
So does the room really look like how's it look in that space y'all are in?
Well, we're in the tower, and those type of rooms, what you saw in the video, is very dark. It's a big dark room.
Okay.
yeah.
And that's terminal. So terminal is where the air traffic control towers are. En route is the radar facility. So you got the center and the TRACON. The terminal.
You got a bunch of radar. You got to see a bunch of radar scopes lined up against the wall. I mean, it's pretty simple. In the tower, we all standing up, looking out the glass. We also have radar too that we look at as for, you know, another set of eyes and stuff like that.
So the number of as far as I've read, and I could be totally wrong, but what I've read is like the number of air traffic controllers is going down, like as far as an occupation. How do y'all, as brothers that are part of this fraternity, how do y'all increase the pipeline of young brothers that coming into it?
Do you mean as a whole or as the community? Because I mean, so as the whole, the numbers are going
Right.
down. The numbers are going down. Our job, only because you know, we're government funded. We're one of the few agencies. I mean, we're one of the few occupations that actually negotiate a contract with Congress. So they have they really have something to say as far as getting the bodies in. But as far as the numbers in the community, our goal really is just to make it more awareness to the community. That's why, so if you come to visit National, you'll see, young brothers and sisters in there, because, their awareness in the area is starting to grow. It's starting to grow. Even across the country. I mean, we are fraternity, and we speak to a lot of brothers and sisters. We go on, through coalitions and union events, and just, we try to get together. And everybody thinks about the outreach, but it's all about the awareness. The government had put they stopped hiring. What do they call that?
A freeze.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, they put a freeze on hiring air traffic controllers. Number one, I believe the money is real. The money is really high, and so through attrition, what happened when Reagan fired a lot of those guys, their time came up, and they're now retiring.
Right.
And so, the FAA didn't do a good job of backfilling. So the numbers are going down, but almost every facility is short-staffed.
Yeah, to speak on that, Reagan fired over 14,000 controllers in 1981 because they were striking. So he gave them like 48 hours to come back to work. They thought they caught his bluff. He fired everybody. And so they had to fill all those positions, and then it was implemented to be a mandatory retirement at 56.
Right, I read that.
So 81, everybody's on their 56th birthday right now.
Right.
So that's why the hiring is. So
It's
we do
going down.
yeah, we do a lot of work. Well, I know we both do a lot of work on Capitol Hill, trying to get the legislative input to make sure hiring is something that is reaching communities that we live in.
Right.
It's a tricky field, man.
Right.
But it's definitely about awareness, because at the end of the day, none of us grew up knowing the air traffic controller. I know I didn't.
Nah.
You don't see him. I mean,
not at all.
You just don't see him.
So when you guys tell people, introduce them to what you do as far as career wise, what's some of the responses y'all get?
First, they got to understand, like, where?
What is
y'all
that?
out here? Y'all moving. Y'all know?
Yeah.
Like, this ain't soul plane. This ain't, we not that with the baton.
Yeah.
They don't know. They really don't know what air traffic control
Okay.
is. A lot of people, if they do, they never seen one.
Okay.
So, and then that brings to the amazement. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Well, where can I see this?
Yeah. Oh, I heard that's a very stressful job.
Oh, they know,
Or,
yeah, stressful.
I heard it's a very stressful job, and their vision of air traffic controllers are, white men with black suits on.
Yeah, so the stress is real. However, the stress is also something that they put in there to deter people to apply.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've read, they say it's like one of the most stressful jobs
That's
in
what
America.
keeps the pay high. You understand?
Exactly. So
Right,
at the end of the
right.
day, it's real stressful.
Yeah, it's stressful.
I need my
Are
money.
you stressed? I need a drink.
No, but that's why our goal is. That's our goal as far as informing is to let them know. No, you can do this. I mean, this isn't rocket science. You know what I'm saying? This is not something that you go around talking to schools and different programs. They're like, man, I don't know about that. Boys and girls like, no, you can do this. I mean, there's a level of stress. I said it's a level of responsibility. I said, but those who get paid, they getting paid for their responsibility. That brain surgeon making all that bread because he getting paid for his responsibility. That lawyer is making a lot of money because he getting paid for the responsibility. I say, so you can't not be successful and don't have responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So so I was like, you guys can do this. I mean, you stress, but it's all manageable.
Right.
Everything is manageable. I said, once you're taught, it becomes second nature. Muscle memory.
Right.
But it's about the awareness that you can do it.
The stress to me before I got hired was like, okay, I think gas was like $4 back then. Remember that? I was like, damn, I gotta go to work, and I'm gonna figure out I'm gonna get 2 McDoubles and put $2 in this tank, get a half a plate.
For sure.
That's stress, right?
For sure.
However, the more you move up, the higher levels, that's different types of stress.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the stress don't change; it just shuffles around to
Right.
different
Right.
responsibilities and priorities.
Right.
Now I'm making money. Now how do I manage this money? Nobody told me that. So, and that's-
So the 737s, right? They've been grounded.
Right. 737, 8
8 in the max.
8 max.
max.
8 max. Yeah. So
Been grounded. What's y'all thoughts on that as ATCs?
Well, I can't say it's for whole ATC. My personal opinion,
Right.
Our preference is that prior to that, I was just on one coming from Atlanta on Saturday. I personally just believe that it's a country thing. I think our pilots and know how to are well trained. Our maintenance here in America is great. Our regulations are great. When you talk about, I don't know the regulations in Ethiopia. I don't
Right.
know if those guys
Right.
bypass certain systems. Because some of the things I heard is like when the computer system or whatever, I think is what they saying, failed. These guys didn't know how to disengage the autopilot.
I'm gonna bring this up. This is a book called Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande.
Okay.
If you guys like Malcolm Gladwell,
Yeah,
outline,
definitely.
he writes just
Tipping
like him.
point.
The thing about him, he's a Harvard guy. He's a physician, and we talk about checklists now. As a pilot, you have to do a certain amount of checklists. As
Right.
a surgeon, you have to do checklists to make sure you even operate on the right person. These type of things, even as an air traffic controller, and this book, and I mean, I'm not trying to promote the book, but I definitely want people to know that in order to be successful in life, you have to check certain things. In other countries, they might not be
Right.
checking
Right.
Yeah,
those type of.
Right.
So I mean, absolutely. So
check
and that's
this
to
out.
that point. Even
Yeah,
like
for sure.
even those guys in the it's a tragic thing, and you hate for any of that to happen. you know, the loss of life that way. But, you know, as far as us on U.S. soil, I just feel as though, you know, these planes have been flying for a long time, and it just hasn't happened over here. So the conspiracy theory to me, the conspiracist in me is like, you know, did those guys do everything they need to do to make sure those planes don't go down like that? But I believe like flying is still safe.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't have they can you know cancel the 800 series. I mean the 8 Max. That doesn't bother me one way or another. Right. You know, I don't want people to start thinking, you know, well, man, Boeing jacked up. Like I'm not getting on a Boeing plane.
Right.
And I think that's an overreaction.
And that's something we talked about earlier. Flying is the safest form of transportation. You probably would get hurt walking out here on this campus trying to cross the street with all these people. I mean, trying to get into your shower. There's so many checklists and things that's put in place for insurance. I mean, keep flying. We're gonna get you out.
Right. Yeah. So y'all basically, if I'm correct, where y'all start out with, you know, the takeoff, the departure, and then at what point do you let the plane go? You know, as far as
to the next controller.
To the next controller.
To get handoff.
Right, the handoff.
Well, we probably. Man, for us, maybe 100 feet off the ground, 200 feet off the ground.
So I can break the airspace down to a 3-layer cake, right?
Okay.
So you start here at the base level. That's the best level. That's where we at. We at the tower. Second level was the TRACON, the Terminal Radar Approach Control Facility. Then you have the Washington. You have the center. So whenever you take your seatbelt off, you're cruising. So you depart DCA. You go to Potomac TRACON. They have a certain amount of altitude from maybe 1,500 to 2,300. And then from there, Washington Center. So you're going to Atlanta Center, Atlanta TRACON. Now you're at the tower. Now you're at the tower.
Yeah,
so it's kind of
so each layer has its duties. Our job is to get you off the ground, you know, safely and in the right direction. The TRACON to take you, get the airplane climbing, and put you where you're going east or west or north or south. Then you go into center's flow and meter you into the center's flow, who then overlines up, you know, a couple states, and then and you go from center to center to center, back down to TRACON. Back down to the tower, who's going to then clear you to land.
Okay.
You know, and the TRACON is going to do some of the sequences.
And so y'all make the handoff to TRACON?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And where's TRACON at?
So that Flint Hill, Virginia?
They're in Warrenton, Virginia.
Warrenton, Virginia.
Okay.
Warrenton, Virginia.
That's for the entire nation?
No,
But just for the...
Just for this area. So,
okay.
So Potomac TRACON was a big radar facility. They work the radar facilities for us, Dallas, Baltimore, Manassas, Andrews. Not Norfolk. They got their own. Manassas and a little bit like Leesburg, and some of West Virginia. So they do the radar, and all they're doing is really sequencing them to hand them off to the center to get, like RB said, to get to your cruising altitudes, and then those guys will control the planes.
And the center's located in Leesburg, Virginia.
Yeah.
How about flights going like internationally? Same thing.
Same thing. So internationally, they'll go east. They'll go east to a certain degree, and then they'll get handed over to the UK's version of a center.
Okay.
And that's it. Only time there are some airspaces in the world. You know, even like when you leave Miami and you're going further south, like South America, there are some non-radar where the pilots aren't talking to anybody. There's no radar coverage.
Right. Wow.
So they're under non-radar rules, where their last instruction is to maintain flight level 400 until 20 minutes, then descend here. And
what part of the country is that?
That's going down to the islands.
I mean, Gulf of Mexico.
Bermuda Triangle.
Going towards Hawaii, they had to put buoys with systems on it so them planes can get tracked. It's over top of
it may be some
water.
GPS stuff following, but it's over water. Just Bermuda Triangle, just communications just not there. I mean, they got a buoy off Key West, the antenna they try to do, but going to Cuba airspace, it is what it is. So, but that's not radar controlling.
Yeah.
But that's how good the people on this side is. They can handle that.
So Ari, like, you got your pilot's license though too.
Right.
So how often do you fly?
Not often. Not as often as I should. I think I just took my wife out of New York. We flew out of Farmingdale. We flew right under the Kennedy final, went down did a circle around the Statue of Liberty. Went downtown, Manhattan off my right, came back. So that was
That's
pretty
dope.
She was
Man, that's fly, bro.
Yeah, that's dope as shit.
It's definitely like aviation, like a romantic thing. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Even if, but for kids, it's like a fantasy because that's the stuff they see, spaceships and planes. It's like pixie dust. It's not real. And we want to make sure that these kids understand that it's real and obtainable. So that's why we got to do it.
Why don't you fly more?
I got a whole bunch of other stuff. Me and him enrolled in Georgetown University.
Okay.
We're actually representing a lot of people on the union side and some other things. So
Yeah.
we just wear many hats, man.
busy.
Flying is not really
Yeah.
my thing, but it's something that I do.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
he said it ain't his thing.
I thought-
Shit.
I-
Right,
So
yeah.
what the
I,
hell
you
is
know,
what
I
that
ain't my
mean?
thing. I just do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I just do it. I just went up New York. I flew around the Statue of Liberty. You know, I came back. You know what I'm saying? You see how lightly he said it? Flew around the Statue of Liberty, came back. You know, you know. But it ain't something I really do. I'm sitting here like,
The reason why I tell y'all the reason why I learned how to fly because it made me more marketable as an applicant. And how does an air traffic controller understand anything if he doesn't understand the person that you're talking to?
right.
So it helps me. For me, it just helps me kind of look at their perspective as well.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
I'm the opposite. Whereas when I got into controlling, I thought about it, but then after I started controlling some of these planes, like, man, them people crazy. I'm not getting up there.
Yeah.
And we're talking about from a small field, you know, a small session or something like that. You know, I just actually controlling made me not want to, you know, fly more. You know what I mean?
Really?
As far as being my own pilot.
Right,
Oh, I love
okay.
being in an airplane.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. I love being in an airplane. I've been in anything. You know, helicopter. I love those. A blimp. You know, I've been in those. So
Really?
Yeah.
How's that?
Different.
It's slow. It's slow. Cause see, when I worked in Miami, Snoopy 1 and Snoopy 2 and Monster, those blimps used to park there and they take us up on rides.
So how different? I'm sure it's a big difference from helicopters to planes when you come to flying them.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
what's the? It's a hell of a big
So
difference.
think about helicopters. They're like a Sprite can, right?
Okay.
with a system that works counter.
Okay.
So if you fly for 1 hour, you have to do 3 hours of maintenance on that aircraft.
Damn.
Right. So it's not really meant to fly.
Yeah.
According to the structure of it. So that's why the maintenance on there is a lot more
So
than
high.
a plane.
Yeah.
You know. So
And like I said, it's counter, so you working on a gyro stick rather than having, you know, rudders and flaps and like a little yoke that's
It's not
on
meant
there.
to fly.
You know,
So just because you have a pilot's license, that don't mean you can fly a helicopter.
I'm not flying no helicopter.
Yeah.
you can't do
Nah,
it.
You can't do
I-
it.
I-
Okay.
nah.
you can work. I mean, shit.
What do you think happened? You know,
I can fly if I want to. I ain't gonna.
I mean,
do it,
well, y'all brothers, y'all can do just we're Superman. Y'all can do just about whatever y'all want.
I look at it like this. I look at it like this. If I'm on a plane and the dude just like, you know, Kirk dies or whatever,
Yeah.
if they called on somebody, I step up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm
I know.
volunteer you.
I had enough simulator time.
That guy right,
Right.
there. Go ahead, Sean.
I had enough simulator time to get us somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
I want you on my flight.
No bullshit.
I got
Real.
you, man.
I got this.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, it'd be like
The white people would be like, "Oh, we be, I can do it." Hey,
how much simulator time you got? You know.
So I was always into like Tuskegee Airmen growing up.
Yeah.
So that was always something
Yeah.
that was dope to see these brothers go through so much adversity
Yeah.
and end up on top.
On top.
So
Yeah.
that was something that
Right,
drove me.
right.
So I'm like, well, if they can do that I'm gonna try. At least I say
Yeah.
I can see what they felt when they were
Yeah.
going through, and that was my connection to flying.
So let's kind of switch the hat, man. Why don't you guys tell us more about the program that you guys are developing?
Okay.
The
DC
partnership
Flight
that
Club
you guys
Foundation.
have.
Yeah, Flight Club Foundation. We started this. This is all an idea as of 8-9 years ago, and incorporated in 2016. And the biggest thing that I told you when I got into aviation in 2009, 2012, is that if I had the opportunity, we would make sure we get this information back out to the neighborhoods we grew up in. So that was the idea. We've had many ideas from them, and now we're actually enrolled in Georgetown University to make sure we get those ideas down on paper and structure it so people can understand what we're trying to do.
what was the
Well,
process of y'all creating that? How did y'all?
Well, you know, the reality is, you know, we've always, I did career days for my kids in their school, and we've always getting invitations out, different entities to talk about, you know, go to schools and do careers, and I know Aubrey went through his church ministry for their aviation stuff, and you know, after the years of doing that, it just came to, hey, you know what, we want to do something for our community and structure the way we want with the knowledge that we have. You know, you have all this knowledge and information. I'm big on the information portion of it. You know, we've even done, like I said, we've lobbied on Capitol Hill. You know what I'm saying? So we know the politics of it. We know we have the experience on it, and we got this vast wealth of information that the community needs to know. And
Definitely.
And when you do these little, you know, career days, or even when you go talk to, you know, go to universities and speak on about the craft, you know, what you've come across is people just don't know. The young people just don't know. So we partnered up to do this in a STEM type form, you know, and we talking about science, technology, engineering, math, you know.
Principles.
And so, you know, you throw aviation principles into that, and it's like, because it touches on all that. And we're not just doing air traffic, we're doing piloting, we're doing drones, which is a new way of things. We're also offering aircraft mechanics. You know, we're partnership, tight. You know, and like Aubrey said, you know, the goal, and our target children are, you know, 12 to 17.
12 to 18.
Yeah, 12 to 18. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it can be 18 in high school. Yeah, 12 to 18. You know, just to get you on a path to even introduce something to you, see if you like it, and then even and let you know, even in the aviation field, there's still IT in aviation. There's communication in aviation. There's so many aspects of the aviation world that, you know, you can get into, and so many corporations that deal with it. We just not there under the umbrella of aviation.
So
That's an amazing
my personal
idea.
thing. My personal thing is working for all these other organizations and helping them better their brand. However, I found something that worked for us.
Right.
And I noticed that they weren't going to the places where we came from. They were going to Northern Virginia. They were going to the county and the safe places.
Right.
They weren't going to the places that.
Or if they brought,
Right.
or if they were reached out to, they brought somebody in. They wouldn't reach out to us. Like, they wouldn't bring anybody from the community. You know, we always just tell, hey, look, we know these kids. We from these neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? We want the kids in our neighborhoods, in our community, to see someone, you know what I'm saying, who's sitting in their seats for the most part, locally. And they weren't doing that. So it was like, you know, that's another thing that drove us to go out there and locally get in front of the kids. And we'll start the program, you know, curriculum-based program. And just, you know, introduction, inform, and give them an opportunity that, so when you get to the 11th grade or the 12th grade, you can say, man, you know, I could go try to do this air traffic, or I can maybe go military, be a pilot. But at the end of the day, I know the phonetic alphabet. You know what I'm saying? If I would roll up on me and he'd be like Whiskey Tango Echo, you'd be like, oh, really? Okay, I hear what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already know all that stuff. You know, I have a vision of stuff that I know. And let them know how obtainable it is. You know, that's the biggest thing.
And that was going to be my next question. Like, what do you tell a kid that's 12, 13 years old and knows he wants to have a career in aviation, you know, but he's from the hood, you know what I mean? He don't have a real big support system. He's poor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you tell him from you guys' perspective?
Well, the biggest thing is just to let them know that we're here to assist you in any direction you want to go. I mean, we're creating a model where if you want to go military, you want to go post-secondary after high school, you want to be a civilian, if you want to go to a HBCU like Hampton, we can actually groom you to get you scholarships and things, because when you think about flying, it's very expensive. However, if we can make sure that you get everything that you need under our foundation to get you a license, then I don't want to hear any excuses about lack of money or lack of resources. We want to make sure we provide that.
And it's life skills too. You know, to let them know that, hey, you know, when and going on this path, there's certain characters, you know, certain character you have to have. You know, certain things you gotta do. I mean, at the end of the day, we get drug tested. So I mean, you know, and for the older guys, you know what I'm saying, you gotta put that down. You know, you gotta look at it, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying. As you know, the old saying, you know, don't argue with these pennies when there's dollars on the table. You know what I'm saying? So forget about this short stuff. If you know, this is a very rewarding thing. It's respectable, you know, and like, once again, it's out here for you. It is really out here for you.
You know, and one of the things that I've just learned in general, and I was talking about this to the reporter this morning from Freedom Mind, is that I never would expect it to be able to have a social capital to where I can call a surgeon, right? Or I can call a professor, right? Or I can call an air traffic specialist. You know what I mean? So as I get older, you know, I appreciate my social capital that much more, right? And I think that's where we lose content at, as far as when we're young. You know what I mean? That we never developed that. And my homeboy, Dr. St. Ville, talk about the 3 C's: human capital, social capital,
financial capital, right? Financial capital about money. You know what I mean? Human capital, developing your mind.
Right.
What's the information that you have? And social capital is all about who you know, right? But I think growing up in my community, I always says I focus so much on the financial aspect of it. I never developed the human and social capital of it, right? But if you put human and social capital together, you're always going to get financial capital, right? So that's why I feel like conversations like this is so fruitful, right? Because if a young gentleman that's 15, 16 have access to all four of these different components, us being black men, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Right? Like how
That was apropos. The sky's the limit.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like,
That's my thing. That biggie.
Right.
you know what I mean? I
Right.
think, as black men, like it's our duty to give back and live in service to humanity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I feel like we owe something. You know what I mean? And we the cream of the crop.
If we don't owe for them, we owe for our sons.
For
Yeah.
sure.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
So-
For sure.
But I think like even as far as doing the show and having y'all here, man, is just amazing because so many gems in the black community that we don't get a love to. Like, and that people need to hear your voices. Like, I could definitely say, man, when I was younger, I wanted to be a pilot. My mom used to take me to the airport.
Nice.
We wasn't going nowhere. My
Right.
mom couldn't afford to take me anywhere, but she would take me to the airport just to watch the planes. Like, we not going anywhere, but you can watch them come in and land and all of that. But,
machines.
it's and kind of dovetailing on what Che was saying, like, I didn't know anybody that was a pilot. I think that's the key, right? So I ended up, when I was in high school, I went to high school for engineering and science. It was all STEM, right? We did science 6 hours a day. I was good at physics, but I never knew a physicist.
Wow, right,
You understand?
right, right. So in your mind,
So I'm like,
where am I go with
yeah,
this? I don't know nobody.
So I'm rushing to class
Right.
because I'm like, yo, we gonna do this experiment today. We gonna drop this from the roof. We gonna calculate how long it takes to hit the ground. All of that. I was into it. How does a roller coaster do that? How does it go through a loop? I'm into that, right? Matchbox car going on a track, like all of that. But where I lost interest was, I couldn't see the applied part of it because I didn't know anybody that did it.
Correct.
That's the biggest thing. If you can't see it, it's hard to really be it.
Exactly.
And that's to your point and our point. How many, I was gonna say African American or black air traffic controllers have you ever met?
You,
Right.
and my brother, he's in the Navy. Right. So y'all right here.
Right.
And then
But
And it took my whole lifetime to meet y'all.
right. I mean, at the end of the day, even at our class that we're in, I mean, it's 40 people in the class. Besides us two, 38 have said we've never met an air traffic control. Period.
Right.
So I already know you ain't black. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hop out there.
Yeah.
Hop out the porch and
Exactly.
tell them what's going on.
Exactly.
At least see it so we can have that conversation.
Right, right.
It's a hard conversation, the easy conversation. It's not going to be easy. Let's just talk. Let's
Yeah.
get some dialogue and let's figure out a roadmap
Yeah.
or what we call and from the flight club a flight plan on where you want to end up at.
So when you guys created the idea, what led you to like going to Georgetown? Did you guys go to different universities to present it? How did y'all connect with Georgetown?
Well, the Georgetown connection really, I mean, it's from an organizational OD network that we were, that we sat in on, who was doing some pro bono work for 501c. But the certificate we're getting, we just believe that we wanted to sit in get this 501c certificate just to have the knowledge. It's all about the information. We want this thing to be structured because we know we're sitting on something big. We know we have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
We know, so we want to hear from people actually in the business who work through 501c's how to navigate. We don't know it all. We're controllers. You know what I'm saying? So it's just to give us the foundation to have the best program, most successful program out there. I mean, we can shoot from the hip and do it. Do it that way. I mean, we can know how to hustle and grind. But you know what? We're in a position where we can afford to gain more knowledge and roll out the right way, and then the networking too. It's crazy.
So when has Northwest came down to Southeast and met in the middle? You understand? So when it was like, okay, we can do EDC, we can do this, we can do that. Georgetown, they got a program. Hey, Terry, what we gonna do? We gonna do this? So when has that network
Right.
came down here?
Right.
When has that network came over here? So let's expand get to the alumni status and actually get the information back out too.
Right.
Man, like this is
This
bro,
is crazy.
This shit is so refreshing.
It is, man.
You know what I
It
mean?
is.
Just to see,
It really
just to see
is.
the tag team that you guys have. You know what I mean? Just to see the OG and the young OG together. You know what I mean? Because me and Doc, we do it all the time, right?
Right.
But just to see someone else tag team and do the same
Yeah.
shit, like that shit is a reward.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
Like, and I think just me personally, I've made a lot of big steps in the past 30 days, right? And I think just by this conversation alone, you guys have just motivated me in my personal life just to keep pushing. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's why conversations like this, it's so freaking important. You know what I mean? For us as black men to stick together and empower each other. You know what I mean? Because I think I want to say it was Soul Food, and I can't get the line correct, but she was like, she said, when you ball your fists up, the impact is better than just hitting someone with one finger. You know what I mean? Like if you open hand smack somebody, of course it's gonna hurt. But if you bring your fists together and bring all 5 fingers together, it's gonna be more of an impact. You know what I mean? So when you come together as a team, and us being black men, man, we can change the freaking world, bro. And I never would have, not to cut you off, I never would have thought like, man, fucking middle school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like middle school.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. And then
for
you
me to
see,
be able to, hey,
yeah,
look, bro, come on,
look,
you know what I'm saying?
That's real growth
Right.
right there. Look at
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit's powerful. Middle
Powerful.
school, bro.
I was
Right.
busting him on the football.
right. So y'all know each other from middle school, and then look where
But yeah,
look
we
where
have,
we
and
at.
I'll be
where we
honest
at.
with you, bro.
You know
We
what I'm
haven't
saying?
even had a conversation.
Yeah.
And I've been watching you, and I've been supporting you from, as men, as
appreciate
black
it.
men, we support each other like this.
Right.
I think it's time to really start embracing each
Embracing
other,
each other.
and getting these meetings of the minds going.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of for us like the impetus behind the show, right? We wanted to show, people that came from working class situations that we all know everybody from our neighborhoods, our families, friends are some of the most brightest people, intelligent people that we know, but we never show each other love for that. We always want to and it's no slight to them, but everything is kind of like celebrity, rap, athlete driven. I'm like, come on, man. There's so many more people in our community that is more realistic for you to be. Sitting right here. Like, you could be this. You don't have to like try to be, a 1 in a billion case like LeBron James. Like come on.
Yeah, right on.
And y'all are more accessible to touch people. And so I think that's really like at the end of the day, having y'all here kind of embodies actually what we really want to get across is to people to see and hear your stories and then like the amazing stories of brothers that are in our community that we could literally like touch.
Man, I really appreciate you guys and this platform y'all started, man, to allow people to, in the community to come out here and share. Y'all wanna hear their stories and let them, put their works out there. I mean, you guys are doing a wonderful job here, man. This is some good stuff right here.
Let's put it up.
Salute. And y'all bring good wine, man.
And then the thing is that
I'm gonna keep emphasizing
I think that goes back to like this was just an idea for us. You know what I mean? And we just executed. You know what I mean? We had our first guest, then we had our second guest, then we had a third guest. Now we up to 40 episodes.
That's what's up.
Well, what y'all think about that, like the execution? Because clearly, y'all had a vision, right? And then y'all just executed it. Because it's not like you had a template of people that were doing it, but you just went and did it.
It's still a work in progress.
I'll be honest with you, it's like it was all a dream.
Yeah.
And the dream became an idea. The idea turned into a vision. That vision turns into the work that we do today.
Then it just took. And then it starts moving. Like I tell them all the time. I mean, the reason why this thing is continuing to grow and move, because we come from a positive place, we have positive intentions, and we're real. And when you do that, and when you start off, with some of those core principles, along with some, our value system. It just starts moving, and when I say the momentum was unreal. I mean, literally, we get calls all the time, and we have we got different major corporations who've reached out to see
sure.
how can and so to see how they can be involved with us.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I was like, pause. Let's get to Georgetown. Let's get some education on how to navigate through this world. Nobody want to be jammed up. You know, so and that's another reason because it started to just grow because we know what we're trying to do and what we want to accomplish for the community is real, and it's needed, and there's nobody out there doing it for this. For aviation. I mean, they're talking about other things. They're not, you know what I'm saying, for our profession.
How do y'all replicate it so it's like around the country? Have y'all thought about that?
I'll be honest with you, man. This is something that came to vision, and a lot of people aren't going to like this. Right. So it's going to be a lot of adversity, but once they understand the purpose and the intent and the people we are, like for example, DC, how many aviation programs in DC?
I don't know any.
This is the most powerful district. We had the most money here
in the world.
Prince George's County is the richest African American county in the country.
Yeah.
Why is there none? Now, and that's why I say, okay, let's get it. Let's get it powerful.
Our goal. I mean, you know, it's not a goal, but I mean, we do envision, you know, at some point that this thing may go worldwide. I mean, there are aviation clubs and aviation charities out there, and there are good people doing, you know, aviation related stuff with kids. I mean, even in some schools some churches have aviation programs, some schools have aviation programs, but you know they're limited to what. And then on top of that, the people who are teaching them aren't in the mix every day.
They're not in the field.
You know what I'm saying? So what we're doing, we're just not just, you know, teaching piloting. They're like I said, they're organizations that take kids out and teach them how to fly. There are a lot of them, and they're very successful across the country. You know what I'm saying? But they're not doing air traffic. They're not doing maintenance. They're not doing drones, or they may be. You know what I'm saying? But they're not, and they're not creating a pipeline type. You know what I'm saying? Performance based, pipeline type situation where kids continue to grow, move up, get better, and that's what we're here for.
All right, we back. Work class intellectuals. So look, we were just talking about the replication of it, and I want to see y'all do it worldwide, definitely. And in fact, man, like we have a program with guys, and we talk about this all the time, guys that come into University of Maryland, Prince George's Hospital, Capital Region Violence Intervention Program. We work with guys that have been shot. So everybody that comes in from D.C., primarily from like Ward 7, Ward 8, and with inside the Beltway, we provide them with psychosocial services to try to get their lives back together, because our trauma recidivism rate was 32%, but we've had like 116 people, and we've only had one person come back since we started.
Nice.
So it's like 1%, less than 1% trauma recidivism rate. But right now, we're trying to like, you know, make it more academic based, bring it up to the university, have more access to the resources that we have up here, because we think guys need the exposure to campus environment and the same things you guys are trying to provide. So I think, you know, I am trying to recruit y'all, but yo, we definitely at some point, like God, our brothers need to hear y'all story and need to have access and know that it's possible and see your faces, to know that, yo, they could potentially be an air traffic controller or be a pilot or be in the industry to create some of the software that's associated with it, or the drone. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about too, like the whole drone part. Like, what's that part of the curriculum like? Because drones are so big now.
You learn airspace. It's based on a Part 107 curriculum, so anyone can take the test. It just costs $150, and we teach you the airspace, teach you how to operate the drones, the restrictions of the airspace on what you can operate in, the height. So when you operate drones, it got to be from surface to 400 AGL. It has to be a VFR. VFR means visual flight rules. Okay. There's so many little things and nuances that we can just teach you. Right. So you don't get jammed up, and you actually can take this to the next level.
Okay. And then you talk about, teaching how to, put a camera on them. They're professional racing teams now. There are people, can do their entrepreneurs, skills with the drone. They can film their family reunion. I mean, just give them, but it's still part of under the aviation umbrella.
Yeah, because part of like the work we do with filming some of the projects we have, that's some of the issues that we run into with the flight space, with the drones, right? Because we want to film some stuff and use drones, but there's some issues around the flight space with the drones.
We gotta get the proper waivers.
So that's the biggest thing, getting the waivers and getting the education on where you can operate and where you can't operate. Okay. And then keep you out of trouble, but make sure that you can take this to the next level.
Right. I'm sure the kids loving that part of it.
Yeah, man, that's why I don't.
Like that's
Especially
that's
on the
amazing.
drone racing side, where they
Yeah.
actually engineer their own drone.
Oh my
You get
God,
to build something,
bruh.
and that's crazy.
Yo, again, proud of y'all, man. For real, man. Y'all give me that feeling in my chest like, damn, there's some brothers out here doing some amazing things. Yo, so we gonna wrap it up. They done brought us good wine. We had cheap cups.
For sure.
So good.
But man, yo, this has been like an amazing episode. They brought us an ill book that we need to read, the Checklist Manifesto. Y'all should go out and buy that. And what's the name of the program?
Flight Club Foundation.
Fight Club Foundation. Where can they find it?
www.dcflightclub.com. You can check out everything. We had all pictures and curriculum there. Right now, we're working on revamping the website, but you can see where we're at.
We got an Instagram, DC Flight
Yeah,
Club.
at DC Flight Club on Instagram, even on Facebook at DC Flight Club. So,
There it is. World Class Intellectuals, we back. This was the ill episode for us to be off for so much time, but we came back. We came back strong. Let's let y'all know how we do it. Working Class Intellectuals. We out of here.
Yo, peace.
That was good, bro.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
You guys got it, man. Appreciate y'all, man.
man, ain't nothing but dropping this thing.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good wine, bro. I'm nice. Yeah, I'm
About to eat through these cups,
yeah,
though.
bro. I'm good.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah, that's a good. Listen.
Where the cheese at, man?
I know, right?